is that compliance with COVID-19 related directives and guidelines.
I think we can take those ones are read.
Thank you. The notice was issued on the order of the board by myself, G.D. Vitayo, the company secretary, and dated 22nd of June 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, company secretary. I would like to inform all members that the public address system is being used to ensure that everyone can hear and at the same time record proceedings. I would therefore implore you to speak clearly into the microphone whenever you wish to make a point or second a motion, and to commence by stating your name. Each member can second each motion presented on the meeting. There will also be an opportunity for questions on that particular motion only before the vote on it is taken. As mentioned earlier, we are holding the AGM with the approval of CAC, further to the guideline issued by the CAC and adopted by the Nigerian Stock Exchange on holding of AGM by proxy as necessitated by COVID-19 pandemic. I now call on the registrars to please present the proxy report.
Thank you, sir. I hereby confirm that
All right.
Go on.
I hereby confirm that the registrars received a total of 373 proxies, while we have 14 shareholders present in person, making a total of 387 shareholders being represented at this meeting, and with a total holding of 7,330,244,771 units of shares, and this is a 65.6% of the total shareholdings of the company.
Thank you. Let me crave your indulgence. I don't know. We have the chairman's statement and we have the MD statement. Can I crave your indulgence to take it as read? Okay, thank you. The first item on the agenda is to lay before members the audited financial statement for the year ended at the 1st December 2019, together with the report of the auditors. Together with the report of the auditors, the report of the directors, auditors, and the audit committee thereon, and I call on the representative of the auditors to please read the auditor's report. Mama.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, all members present. My name is Shai Lumaru, and I'll be taking the auditor's report on pages 35 to 38. But I'd also like to crave your indulgence that you allow me to take the basis of the opinion, and on page 38 we take the report on other legal and regulatory requirements. Okay, thank you very much.
So who are you taking the permission from?
The shareholders.
No, you said it before.
I didn't hear that, sir.
You refer to shareholders on the comment. Tell the details again.
Okay, with the permission of the shareholders, may I take the first two paragraphs on pages 35 and the last paragraph on page 38? Thank you very much. Okay, so we go to page 35. Independent Auditor's Report to the members of Mutual Benefits Assurance PLC. Report on the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements. Opinion. We have audited the consolidated and separate financial statement of Mutual Benefit Assurance PLC, the company, and its subsidiaries, together the group, which comprise the consolidated and separate statements of financial position as at 31 December 2019, and the consolidated and separate statements of profit or loss and other comprehensive income and the consolidated and separate statement of other comprehensive income, the consolidated and separate statement of changes in equity, and the consolidated and separate statements of cash flows for the year then ended, and notes to the consolidated and separate financial statement, including a summary of significant accounting policies and other explanatory notes. In our opinion, the accompanying consolidated and separate financial statement presents fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of the company and the group as at 31 December 2019 and of its financial performance and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards as issued by the International Accounting Standards Board, and the provisions of the Company and Allied Matters Act, Cap C20, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, the Insurance Act 2003, and relevant policy guidelines issued by the National Insurance Commission, NICOM, and the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act No. 6, 2011. Basis for opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with International Standards on Auditing, ISOs. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statement section of our report. We are independent of the group in accordance with the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, ISBA Code, and other independent requirements applicable to performing the audit of the company and its subsidiaries. We have fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with the ISBA Code and in accordance with other ethical requirements applicable to performing the audit of Mutual Benefit Assurance PLC and its subsidiaries. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Now we move to page 38, where we have the report, the last paragraph now, on other legal and regulatory requirements. In accordance with the requirements of Schedule 6 of the Company and Allied Matters Act, Cap C20, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and Section 28, subsection 2 of the Insurance Act 2003, we confirm that 1, we have obtained all the information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. That 2, in our opinion, proper books of accounts have been kept by the company insofar as it appears from our examination of those books. That 3, the company's statement of financial position and statement of profits or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of accounts. In accordance with the provision of Section 28, subsection 2 of the Insurance Act 2003, the statement of financial position, the statement of profits or loss, and statement of other comprehensive income gives a true and fair view of the financial position and financial performance of the company. Signed by me, Oluwaseyi Lumaru, on behalf of Ernst & Young, dated 15th May 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. May I call on the Chairman Audit Committee to read our report on page 33 of the annual report.
Good morning, the Chairman, board members, distinguished shareholders represented here, regulatory authorities, good morning. First, let me apologize for coming a bit late. There's a mix-up in the venue. It's actually Radisson and not Radisson Blue. So I was actually waiting at Radisson Blue. So they now told me that it's Radisson. So I apologize for that.
Radisson and Radisson.
To our report is on page 33 of the annual report. Report of the Statutory Audit Committee to the members of Mutual Benefits Assurance PLC for the year ended 31st December 2019. In accordance with the relevant provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, Cap C20, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, the Insurance Act 2003, relevant policy guidelines issued by the National Insurance Commission (NICOM) and the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act No. 6 of 2011. The members of the Statutory Audit Committee of Mutual Benefits Assurance PLC hereby reports as follows. A. We have exercised our statutory functions under Section 359 subsection 6 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act Cap C20, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and we acknowledge that the scope and planning of both the external and internal audits for the year ended 31st December 2019 were satisfactory and reinforced the company's internal control systems. B. We confirm that the accounting and reporting policies of the group are in accordance with legal requirements and agreed ethical practices. C. We are satisfied with the management's responses to the external auditor's recommendations on accounting and internal control matters and with the effectiveness of the company system of accounting and internal control. D. We acknowledge the cooperation of management and staff in the conduct of our statutory responsibilities. This report was signed by me on the 20th of March 2020. And other members of the committee are Chief Akin Odubiyi, Mr. Osato Adeyan, Mr. Babatunde Dabiri, who is retired now, Mr. Akinboye Oyewumi, Mr. Shoye Olatunji, and the secretary to all our meetings is no other than Jide Ibitayo, the head of legal and company secretary. Thank you.
Your name?
Thank you, Mrs. Drojali. I now lay the financial statement for the year ended 31st December 2019, and I will entertain some questions on account. First, let me appreciate the Shareholders Association who have sent in reports about comments. We have gotten comments from ISAN, Independent Shareholder Association, and of course from the Ilorin Shareholder Association. They sent in their observations and comments, and it's so noted. Then and others who have actually indicated sent in comments. So on this note, I will have the microphone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 of you, no problem. So let's start with lady first. They say after men. Oh, sorry, lady first. Microphone. Sorry. Take this.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Good morning, Mr. Sharma, Board of Directors, Regulatory Authority present this morning, my co-shareholders. Good morning. My name is Mrs. Bisi Bakari. First and foremost, Mr. Chairman, before I start my comments, I want to use this opportunity to thank the board for choosing me as one of the bosses who represent other shareholders. It is a privilege, so I really appreciate it. Having said that, I will go straight to page 17 on the annual report and account. Anyway, I'm going to consider page 17, 148, and 149. Looking at these 3 pages, my colleagues will agree to me that the account we are considering this morning is an excellent result in all indices. If you look at the page 17, for instance, the statement of profit or loss for the year 31st December 2019, our gross premium rating moved from 15.8 billion to 18.7 billion. This is very good. The same thing, our premium income from 15.6 billion to 18.1 billion. And if you go down there, underwriting profits move from 3.1 billion to 5.4 billion. Profits for the year from 1.15 billion to 3.6 billion. This is very good. I commend the board management and staff for this type of results. Not only that, our earnings from 14 kobo moved to 36 kobo. But unfortunately, out of the 36 kobo, we are not going to get any dividend. Anyway, we can understand. I think it's because of the recapitalization. Then if you look at page 148 and 149, it's also there. That is a 5 years summary. 5 years summary. It's also there. If you look at the indices, you see that our company has been moving forward from 2015 to date, 2019. So I say kudos also. The same thing on page 149, the same trend. So, Mr. Chairman, next year, by God's grace, we want dividend from our company. Page 29. Page 29, under corporate governance reports. The first one I will go is the statutory audit committee meeting. Mr. Chairman, I don't know how managed that our statutory audit committee met only 3 times during the year under review. I don't know how managed. Reason being that quarterly our audit committee is supposed to meet because we submit our quarterly report to Nigerian Stock Exchange. So the remaining 1 quarter, does that mean that the chairman of the audit committee did not look and a member, they didn't look at the report? You just submit it to the regulators without the audit committee looking at it. That is very bad. So I want the board to look at that in future. The same thing that gives me concern here is the governance and personnel committee. If you look at the attendance for governance and personnel committee here, you will see that Dr. Eze Ebube attended only 2 meetings out of 6 meetings. This is very poor. It's not up to 35%. I want the board to look at this also. The same thing on the 14th June 2019, I'm still on the governance and personnel committee. On the 14th June 2019, only 2 members attended the meeting out of the 4 members. I don't know how managed. That means the chairman will move a motion, the second person will end. We move a motion, the second person will support. That is very bad. That out of 4 members committee, only 2 members attended the meeting. That is very poor. The same thing on the 24th April 2019. The same thing, only 2 members attended the meeting. This is very poor, and I want the board to look at it. Page 136. Note 39, other liabilities. Under it, I saw dividend payable. I think First, I need a clarification on this dividend payable. Do you mean unclaimed dividend? I would like to know. Dividend payable, 89.2 million. What do you mean by dividend payable? I need explanation on that. The same thing on page 145. Yes, page 145, contravention. I'm going to face our regulators for this. Our regulators penalize us for 28.5 million. Abba, for a company like Mutual Benefit to cover 28.5 million, a company that needs blood and we are sucking blood from them, this is very unfortunate. And what is the offense? For late filing of the basis for right issue allotment. How much is the right issue allotment that you are penalizing them for 28.5 million? This is very bad. This is very bad. Our elders used to say that there is no way human being will work without earth shaking. There is no way this company will work that they will be perfect. I'm not saying that you don't find them for their offense, but for a company like Mutual Benefit to pump out 28.5 million at this period, this is very bad. And I want our regulators to look at this. This is on the high side. Upper page. Okay, in order to give order, let me just ask 2 more questions. Our chairman, I would like to ask, under recapitalization, that how ready are we towards meeting the deadline of September 2021? Lastly, what impact is COVID-19 pandemic having on our company, and how do we intend to tackle it? Thank you once again for the opportunity given to me.
Okay, let's go this way.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, the board members, the regulators present, fellow shareholders, and all other shareholders streaming online with us. My name is Eric Akinduro. I'm the chairman of Ibadan Zone Shareholders Association. I want to follow the path of Mrs. Bakari in commending and appreciating you for the privilege to be at this meeting. And also on that note, Mr. Chairman, looking at this report we are considering today is a cake baked by the former MD, because the man retired and another man is taking up the mantle. And we really want to commend him for what he has done. He has served this company meritoriously, and today he's not here. So we want you to extend our greetings and appreciation to him for what he has done in translating this company. And also welcoming Mr. Oluwafemi Asenuga. I was going through your brief CV on this report. I realized that you are an insurance man to the core. And not only that, you represented the best graduating students during your own period. And it not came to me that if we can have a man like this, definitely it's going to be the best MD ever had in this company by the time he's leaving. We are happy with your appointment, and we know it's a challenge. And we believe that you will be up to task and deliver as expected, sir. And also Mr. Jide Bitayo. He has been with us for a long time, and at this AGM, is acting as our substantive group company secretary. No doubt about that, Mr. Chairman, you have appointed the right person, because he is the man that orders shareholders. And every year, though shareholders are not there today, but I'm telling you every year, we keep on praising him because you mobilize him to do the right thing. Mr. Chairman, this year under the bill was not too good, as we know, but we have to appreciate the effort and commitment and dedicated spirit of the management, staff, and the board in making sure that we have a profitable business this year. And as Madam said, looking at our results, the financial highlight for the year on page 17, this is the financial year summary on page 151. We can see that we have a better performance this year. And this now made me to look at the full meaning of our company, mutual benefits. I searched for it and I got it. The definition of our company says that mutual benefit is defined as agreement and relationship in which both parties, let's note that, both parties gain some type of advantage or value. And when I look at this statement on the part of the directors, I know that they gain a lot because I can see the director fees on page 143 went up from 267 to 294.1 million. Executive compensation went up. Director fees from 7.5 million to 18.1 million. Other directors' expenses from 133.9 million to 177 million. They are not the only one that gained, Mr. Chairman. Even the auditors, they gained from this relationship this year. On page 112, auditors' fee went up from 4 million to 46 million. And when I look at the definition of both parties, where is shareholders, Mr. Chairman? Unfortunately, shareholders, we didn't benefit from this relationship much this year because no dividend. Although we know we are building up our dividend, but there's nothing stopping you from giving us something small this year, Mr. Chairman. Others are recapitalizing, yet they paid dividend. On recapitalization by NICOM, Mr. Chairman, going by this report on page 20, we said that we have a shortfall of 4.4 billion as at December 2019. Kindly update us on this, Mr. Chairman, because it was stated that by 2020, we will have fully met up the recapitalization process. So we want to know more during this meeting, Mr. Chairman. And pages 36 and 62, the key audit matters and receivable. I saw here that our contract liabilities went up this year to 14.1 billion, and our loan receivable stood at 11.2 billion. We want to know why and what are you doing to reduce this, our loan. And I also commend you on the trade receivable. Our trade receivable went down this year from 912.1 million to 563.8 million. This shows to us that we are really driving and getting our money back from the debtors. And also, Mr. Chairman, on page 68, geographical concentration of the group's life insurance liabilities. I want to know why we have nil transactions, 68. I want to know why we have nil transaction in Niger Republic. We have nil transaction in that place, so I want to know why we have that. On final note, Mr. Chairman, pages 126 and 127. 126 and 127. Description and valuation on investment properties. Mr. Chairman, the valuation and the method we are using, I don't know why we keep on reducing the valuation of most of our properties. Because when you look at the property on number 8, that's the one in Abuja. Initially, it was valued at 666.25 million, and as at the last time valued, it was 650 million, depreciating. And the one at Oyinbo, initially it was valued at 180 million, and the last valuation gave us 170 million. And I look at these properties, they are in a very rosy places. So I don't know why the valuation is going down. And not only that, Mr. Chairman, I want us to consider probably leasing out some of these our properties. We can publicize it, we can publish it, leasing them out. We have many companies now along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway looking for warehouse where they have their warehousing and everything. So we can lease this thing out, at least to give us more benefit and for the shareholders to share. So on this note, Mr. Chairman, I will go back to our first quarter year result that was published. I saw it yesterday, and I want to commend you. It's a very good result. It's a sign to us that we have a brighter tomorrow if we don't relent in our efforts. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Akinduro Eric. Yes. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Yes, my name is Prince Dr. Anthony Omojola, the new National Coordinator of Independent Shareholders in Nigeria. Prince. I am a royal prince from Okumo Okitipa. I don't need to go into that.
This now. Go ahead.
So that we know I am not just a prince. Thank you. Yes, I want to subscribe to the earlier speakers. And as the chairman has affirmed, our comprehensive review of the accounts, which is a 6-page, and that have been forwarded to the company in advance. I will just go into a few areas to mention certain important points while I leave the board amendment to do the needful general review. First of all, correction on page 30. Page 30, note 5 there, statutory audit committee. I will love a situation where that sentence is constructed to mean this is a statutory committee comprising equal members of directors and shareholders. I'm sure the secretary understands what I'm trying to insinuate. Yes. To emphasize that the shareholders are represented. The other correction is about the directors. If you look at pages 8, 9, and 12, directors, the way we see it, we are supposed to be 10. The group as the finance director was excluded. I don't know the structure of the company. But if you say group finance director, I think he is a director. But he's excluded on pages 8 and 9, but mentioned on page 12. So we observe that we currently have 10 directors and not 8 or 9 as reported on pages 8 to 11. The group finance director is missing, but it's closed on page 12. That's for those corrections. And like I said, I want to support the earlier speakers on the points they mentioned. I want to say the company has performed excellently in the course of the past year in terms of gross premium rating, gross premium income, etc. We want to urge them to keep up the performance. Again, without necessarily repeating what I've earlier said, on net benefit and claims, that is pages 60 and 109. This decreased by 15.05% to, that's from 1.049 billion to 5.96 billion in 2019 from 6.98 billion in 2018. Mainly because of decreases in claims paid by 100 million and changes in outstanding claims of 1.2 billion. The gains were counterbalanced by the reduction in claims recoveries by 100 million and changes in outstanding claims to reinsurance of 350 million. We hope that the reduction in claims paid is due to efficient operations and not born out of cash flow or liquidity issues. Yes, the issue of contravention have been mentioned. Our real embassy here is to make sure that the company do the needful. Without contravening, you will not be fined. It's a different game for the regulators to over-regulate or to be too ambitious, but if we keep to the rules, definitely we don't have cause to be appealing to them to be generous in their charging, so to say. So let the company keep that. On recapitalization, yes, most of the subsidiaries have been recapitalized. But considering that the company has a shortfall of 4.4 billion as of December 2019 to meet the new minimum period of capital expected to come up by next year, what are we doing to reach this stride as of today? Please shed more light on this in terms of the recapitalization plan. Management expenses on pages 60 and 112. Although this decreased by 0.58% or 22.56 million to 3.84 billion in 2019 from 3.86 billion in 2018. While we appreciate the expense discipline undertaken by the management, we noted the insurance supervisory fees increased by 240 million. The bank charges increased by 11 million. Motor vehicle running expenses increased by 88 million. Dito telecommunication expenses increased by 24 million. While we noticed bad debt rating was stated at 144.69 million. And other expenses increased by 82 million. What does the other expenses relate to, sir? The other expenses, that 82.2 million, what does it relate to? And what efforts are we making to recover the bad debt that was actually written up? Require explanation, please. Much has been said about the dividend. First of all, we notice with great concern that dividend payable remain at 89.82. I take that one to be unclaimed dividend. So my comment here is that the position remains that shareholders are being owed, and we do not know how much have been returned to the company with respect to the unclaimed dividends. This should be reflected only in the annual reports going forward and the income earned on the deposits. Please, we encourage management to ensure that shareholders are reached to claim their dividend and income earned on it. Furthermore, on that, the embassy here is to print a readable unclaimed list, readable emphasize, because there are some unclaimed lists which are just produced and people cannot read it. So it's like we wasted their time. So we need to print a readable unclaimed list, which should be available not just on the portal, but available physically with the registrars, and the registrars should also endeavor to to paragraph this list to the most available shareholder groups, the notable ones, so that they are available to them, so that these people can reach out to their members. It is with this extra effort that we can reduce the amount on that list. Well, on pages 103 and 108 on segment information. Segment information 103, 108. Our view of the segment information revealed that Mutual Microfinance Bank recorded a loss of 195.81 million in 2019. Further review of the activities related to this loss revealed that 230.71 million spent on other management expenses and foreign exchange gain, which represent a whopping 132.06% or 131 million increase over the prior year. Please, can we have the breakdown of the other management expenses stripped from the foreign exchange gain, so that we can better appreciate the business? What is the group doing to revamp the microfinance and towards profitability? We require further clarification on this for better understanding. Finally, while we appreciate the efforts of the board and management in carrying out the group's activities, we want further emphasis so that each subsidiary could be managed as if they are independent of one another. Then you can see that the people concerned will be able to make strategic efforts to better their efforts and declare profits, thereby making returns to the investors. My other colleagues have mentioned the issue of dividend, like I said, but we appreciate the fact that we have accumulated losses over the year, and if this is not written off, we cannot expect to have dividend. And when you look at pages, I think 151 is now remaining 1.2 billion, which hopefully and prayerfully by the coming year we surpass that one. And definitely, the directors, the chairman, everybody, and the other shareholders are interested in paying dividend, and I think we will be glad to have that dividend. Thank you. Wish the company more successes as we progress.
With an absolute due respect to the high table, starting from the chairman and all stakeholders in this hall, I stand to say good afternoon, and I wish us a very good stay at this meeting. Mr. Chairman, I will like to avoid repetition in order not to waste our time. And equally, most of the technical aspects in this very comprehensive report has been earlier said by my previous speakers. But permit me to appreciate the work we have done for the year under review, because whosoever scores a goal we get a very loud applause, but whosoever misses the goal we get another round of applause. But the applause I've gotten this afternoon shows that you are on the side of the entire investors with reference to the financial highlights on page 17. Kudos to you, sir, and I wish the entire management and staff the very best of luck in the years ahead, starting from Mr. Ashembe and the other members in charge. Mr. Chairman, I have some few questions, and the first is, how are we preparing to... Oh, sorry. I think you mentioned my name earlier, so I want to avoid repetition, but since you have permitted me to do that, I remain Kasim Olaiwola. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Chairman, my question is, how are we going to sustain the cordial relationship with our valued customers, both within and outside the shores of this country? Because I see it as a very important strategy, simply because the COVID-19 pandemic has allowed relationship to be lost. But the management should look at how best we can move closer to them and keep our fingers crossed. Because the best friend that stays with somebody who in dire need is the best friend that's moved closer to him or her. So let's look at this. Mr. Chairman, sir, the issue of recapitalization has been said earlier. But going by this report, you said the first stage has been done, while the second phase is undergoing. I want to advise that we should focus more on how to beat the deadline. Before the deadline, let mutual stands taller out of our contemporaries in the insurance industry, so that some of us can have a cool mind and the best position to sell out this company. However, Mr. Chairman, the mutual benefit assurance products are very comprehensive. May I advise, like what other notable blue chip companies does, they advertise on social media, they advertise on TV, and the print and electronics entirely. Why can't we adopt this strategy? So that we can reach out to the grassroots. Once a mutual, some people don't even understand what you're saying. Once a mutual benefits, now they hear you. But we still need to strengthen our advertisements. Let us shout that this is what we do, and this is how we are doing it, and this is the prospect of the business. On social media, TV and radio, with each tribe local dialect, it will go a long way. Sir, I observe that after Nigeria, we have an extension of our outfit in Liberia and Niger Republic. Sir, what are we doing to other regions in Africa? Is there a plan to extend our stay there? Or has there been challenges for us not to have an outfit there? Since our business is insurance, nothing but insurance, I think we need to extend our tentacles over there. Mr. Chairman, sir, I observed a few years back, there has been an advice or a question that why are we having 16 banks that we are managing? Our bankers are 16 in number. Is there any way to reduce the number of banks to avoid long expenses? Or is it even beneficial to us? Because I have somebody who specifically reminded me on my phone that I should ask why the need for system commercial banks for mutual benefits. So I would love to have a very full-fledged response on this. Mr. Chairman, there is need to appreciate those who are doing well so that they can do more. I observe that the performance that we are discussing today about mutual benefits is not done by an outsiders, but starting from the managing director who is the staff of the company. Sir, the need for capacity building is still important, sir. Why? Because so as to meet the challenges of the society. In the northern part there, in this current period, I want to tell you some companies cannot manage how they work from home because they lack knowledge. But when you impart knowledge on our staff, anywhere, anytime, any day, they will continue to broaden their horizon and meet the challenges of the society. Mr. Chairman, on a final note, may I extend my appreciation to the registrar for living up to expectation on their duties, although they are being paid for it. But whosoever do good, we have to appreciate him or her. The report being discussed today has been sent earlier to me, and I've gotten the opportunity to read it every time I open any page of the report. So I want to thank you, Registrar Meristem. Please keep it up and don't charge us too heavily. On a final note, sir, we need to still appreciate the engine room, which is the secretariat. Times without numbers, we've seen some company secretaries misbehaving like a goat. You wonder, are they trained? You wonder, how do they got the offer? By standing and represent the company. On this note, sir, Mr. Babajide Ibitayo is somebody we have to appreciate once more. Because if he's not doing it right, we'll tell him. Because his own certificate will be different from mine, but I only have certificate, and it keeps sustaining me. But when you cannot represent your institution very well, you must be a shape. And we have to tell you, Jide Vitaya has been doing wonderfully well. He's a dependable ally, a social stabilizer, the man of the people. And I wish him a very long life. Thank you very much, sir. Anytime you call him for any need, and equally the big manager here in Kaduna, I want to tell you, he's doing wonderfully well. If he's not doing well, I will tell him. We've got an insurance company that I will not mention him, is even a thief who is not representing the company well. Because when you bring business to him, he will fail you. But Ibitaya has not failed us, and he will never fail. Thank you. And the chairman too. I will pray that God will grant you our desires. You have a desire that you are yearning for, you will get it by the grace of God. To the entire members of this company, I want to appreciate the staff, stakeholders, and God Almighty, who has made this day an historical day. On this note, I want to take a bow and say a very good thank you to you, Mr. Chairman, the Board of Directors, and the entire investors generally. God grant our desires. Thank you, sir.
Very short.
The chairman of Mutual Benefit, Dr. King Gumbi, other directors, fully distinguished shareholder, good afternoon. My name remains Okezie Boniface, the national chairman, Progressive Shareholder Association of Nigeria. Dr. Gumbi, you have come a long way, but unfortunately, we have lost touch for many years. We started this company at Joseph Adogu. That time when you are sweating, running up and down with one secretary down in the, I was the pioneer member of the committee of this company. But kudos to Jide Ibitaya, who made it possible for me to be here today. Last time I criticized the chairman, at one point he ran to Ibadan. I said I would never come to Ibadan to waste my money, transport you that road, because I still really going to come. I'm working at it not to come. Mr. Chairman, I want to commend Jide, but I think a lot of people have poor income, and even they have his own income have been overloud than the chairman himself, They have taken the shine of the chairman. That's the truth. In fact, when one does better, you need to command, say it loud on top of the mountain, and say it, so that you can go home and say, yes, I have done very well. But that's also for you to relax. Jide, keep it up. Keep it up, you are doing very well. Because the two witness of people's mouth is confirmed. Affirmation that you do very well. And I hope that the new incoming MD will also do well. Because your predecessor, you have this account, have done very well in this account. I think I'll position the company that we are talking about 3.something million profit, but which have not translated in paying dividend, which I can't clap for you, because there's no dividend. You have made profit, but if you are not rich your pocket, on the resolution are passing today, which is missing there, dividend, a proportion of dividend, people will clap, even if it's 3 cover. It couldn't have gone a long way at this pandemic. These are our own palliative. If the government is not remembering the downtrodden masses, where we end up paying taxes, even if I declare it today, they're going to withhold 10% withholding tax for that dividend. And that's nothing come from the citizens, from the government. We don't have this government in this country, this part of the world. Somebody was showing a video in Canada. When the lockdown was shut down in Canada, they were given $3,000, $2,000 in Nigeria. And they said, which is what are they doing in their own country? If the people are here suffering. The palliative we got in, they said they fed children about 850 billion when they were on the holidays in their homes. And National Assembly is not proving that. They should rise up, not to end this whatever. We must ask that Minister of Military Affairs, whom did you fail in that lockdown? So National Assembly must rise up to the occasions. We must, since we are starting this is not approved, we must approve everybody to give accountability. Because the government came right on power as fighting corruption. And that corruption must be holistic. If whoever is involved must be probed, and that's the only way we can say we have a country. Otherwise, all they're just doing is just waste of time. Mr. Chairman,
I think on Nikon, I must also say today that Nikon, all those fire brigade approach will not work. Given the deadline or the capitalization. At this pandemic now, there's no money anywhere. The government itself are run out of cash. Mr. Mojo said, don't tell me one of you put the golden time in, please. Allow me. This is the day. Let me speak it out today. Nobody's going to die twice. It's once. Okay? Yes, I'm not afraid. So, Mr. Chairman, what I'm saying today, my sister talked earlier about the penalty, but what also watch it. Know the people are dealing with. You don't have CBN, they have the money in their vote. When they said, Jack, you already debited, you don't have any reply, they debited you. That's the thing. So for you to avoid that, you must also be up and doing and turn the reporting time to them, If you submit the reporting time, nobody penalize you. That's the truth. Final report, is not the truth. Whoever is responsible must account for it. Time is coming when we shall demand for the management to return those money you pay to regulators. The only one I can fault is about supervisory. What are they supervising? One will pay such huge amount of money. And the stakeholder are going home empty-handed. Don't talk about penalty because you cost for it. If you submitted the result at the time, they won't penalize you. That's the truth. They will not be happy pleasure to penalize. Because when you don't do those things that they require from you, it's creating room for them to make away with the money. That's the truth. So we must be up and doing. Including not even Nikon alone, including the stock exchange, including SEC. So our report must be up and, when the accountant do, give it to them. Give it to them. All the thoughts, Esther Young, which are the thoughts, they're up and doing to write up the account and submit. So this is the only way. Nikon, I think, is this Sunday Thomas, the current chairman, will also put mouth that the man will be confirmed. He's little than the other one, that high-heartedness, the carrier of this word, Thomas is listening and is doing very well. Also, all of us speak that his favor, he should be confirmed, doing very well. He said, listen, and it was confirmed. He's a substantive commissioner now. He is doing very well. If you do well, we'll commend you. If you don't, we'll flood you with our own mouth. That's the truth. Because I know the operators are deaf and dumb. We can't challenge the regulators. Why can't challenge them? They don't owe me a feeding anyway. That's the truth. I tell them to their face. So, Nikon, it won't work. Considering what we are passing through, the companies are passing through today, it can't work. So go back home and do that. We have test us if you want to carry us along. Because the institution come that you sold this company to foreign investors. And they took this company, tomorrow they come back, they are mutual and trading below par value. And somebody will come in, they say it's 20 naira, they begin to, various assets we have. So after you recognize the assets as big building, in capitalization, it's not only cash, the insurance is not only, it's not cash that's suffering from. It's a problem inadequacy of regulators. That's what they're suffering from. We have every loss for them to making money. And you are not enforcing it. It is not operator with all those things. If every cash in Nigeria, even third parties are taking that 5,000 naira, it's a lot of money. What are we talking about? You talk about policy of rising building, show it. Who's going to enforce it? You collaborate with the operators and the government and the police to enforce it. The insurance mutual cannot go today. You are building 3-story building. Come and insure. They will go advertise. Nobody will listen to them. We see expenses being done here, advertisement and this and that. And if they go appeal, nobody's coming. It is the what of police, they enforce those things. And who have the police? Federal government. Not even the state, for that matter. So what we're talking about, the regulator must go back with the government. Don't bring up mature to regulating finance, and there's nothing happening there. This is a problem we're having. People are not mature, bringing the system position, and that's fallout we're getting today. That's the problem of this country. Because on religion or tribalism or nepotism, whatever, people were mature. When the slayer of this war was Minister of Finance, she will come with them. In the Kakala, things are different. What are we talking about? Things are different. Please, let us look on inward. So Nikon should be able to organize our assets and build up there. Then when things ripe, the cash can come in. We should organize that in our books. That's the only way forward. Don't rush them to make mistakes. And this company will fall into the hands of foreigners. and they pay the minority a peanut. We are paying off. And you think, what is company? The money is tax. Who create the jobs? And the foreigner will bring their own people as expatriate and lay off the Nigerians. What are we talking about? Please, we should stop that. This amount we are paying to supervisory, it is not good at all. What are we supervisory? It's not reflecting in what we are paying this money out to supervisions. Because NICOM will sit in Abuja, they are making their money. Penalty, supervision, they are making their money. And government also pay subvention to them. So they are making their money. That's the problem we're having, So we need to sit down with these operators and chart a way forward to recapitalize this insurance. Cash is not a problem. Honestly, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. Sit down with them. That timetable will not work. You bet me. Because we said it that time, last time, and you come back and reverse yourself again. It can work. We should stop those things, deceiving ourselves. Today, all of them are going to Mauritius. How many population are Mauritius? Even Angola, even Rwanda now, that came out to civil war, whatever, crisis. The economy is better than us. What are we talking about? And tomorrow they will take this country. Africa, I'm not talking about foreigners, no, Europe. African country. They will take over the country. If not South Africa. Please, sit down with them and you're not way out. Mr. Chairman, I also worried on page 36, auditors concern. On the, I'm also worried there. I don't know. On the concern they raised. Page 35? 36.
Key audit matters.
Yeah, key audit matters, And on page 66, we are seeing we are paying claims as well. And 9.1 billion 2018, 8.6 billion as at 3rd December 2019. These are outstanding claims. Because the hallmark of business is claims. That is the trust. They said in banking, trust is the hallmark of the business. Because if you don't pay claims, nobody will patronize you. They run away. But look at page 66 here. The same auditors wrote this in claims paid, reinsurance paid, commission received, claim recovered from insurance. Have you seen it? On page 66 there. That means if this company is not paying claim, we can have about 2.887 billion. We pay claims. What is telling us this are standing now? And these are standing how because we make profit. I know some claims have also been paid in all of these things. How do we make sure that we really net off all these outstanding claims so that I don't want insurance to the what they're suffering from? In fact, that we thank God that mutual benefits, nobody is blocking their offices. And they are not recruiting police to keep there, to wall up the clients who are coming. It has not come to that situation. We know some companies who have been doing that over the years. So that's what they are facing. And this is why NICOM should be able to chart a way for them to come out of this problem. Not to bombard us with, because the economy is bad. And those who are running it also worsening the situation are not creating room for them to aspire where they want to be. But when they just say tax them, whether they do or not, no tax holidays. In America today, they are pumping money to the company systems. Make sure that this company survives and create jobs. That's what they're doing. Pumping money in this pandemic. Stimulus have been pumped. Billions of dollars. How much is company receiving? No. They want to tax them. Look at states is taxing. How about? We should give a break all these things. And how do we create? How do we pay? The retirees, pensionists have also put in money.
Please round up.
Yes, I'm rounding up, Mr. Chairman.
We have to be here in 2 hours.
Yes, I know you are afraid of what I'm saying. So that nobody will penalize you. You're not the one saying it. You're not the one saying it. So, Mr. Chairman, what I'm saying in essence is that, this company have done well in paying claims to the company. Mr. Chairman, I'm also worried too in this they would. Where we have a change loss of 81 million. How far are we going with this? They would. that's what gives us a problem. How far? Because their wood is dragging us down. They 2 billion, 150 billion loans in Japanese yen, Mr. Chairman. What's the way forward? We can't be dragging, they can't continue dragging us down. We must find a permanent solution for them to exit completely from this company. Because most Nigerian companies who run to the wood that time have found out that the wish was the devil itself. They're not helping companies. And it was a mistake. It's not only you, a lot of companies, including pharmaceutical companies, who went to their wood. With all of them, including some other companies, those ones existed now. So what are we doing to exit so that they can get our wahala go and we remain where we are and do our business? So, Chairman, you must tell us how far you have gone with this Dewood. We don't want to see them continue to reflecting here. Dewood, their problem on our neck. So these are things we need to begin to do and present this company, bring it so that we shareholder will receive our investments before God will call us home. That's the most important, Mr. Chairman. Please, because I know when you are chairman now, you are relaxed because you also gone to politics. And there are that. But if you have succeeded, we are getting more money than State. If you have succeeded, I don't know why. They don't like the professionals to come. They don't believe politicians. That's why they didn't need you. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you so much.
Miss politics with that.
Emmanuel. Okay. Thank you so much. Wonderful comments. I will briefly just respond. Again, we are quite happy for the commendation, but unfortunately, we are not able to pay dividend. The reason is not far-fetched, because we really need to recapitalize. I really want to appreciate the frustration of everybody, really, and then of course the voicing out by Mr. Okeze on the requirement for recapitalization. Well, they said if you don't want to be regulated, don't get into business of that requires regulation. So regulation has said recapitalize, and to recapitalize is what exactly we're going to do. Factually, everybody that spoke actually wanted to know what we're doing on recapitalization. Let me say this to you, that as the Lord liveth, by the grace of God, Mutua is going to fully recapitalize this year. We have 5 companies to recapitalize. Mutua Nigeria, Mutua Liberia, Mutua Life, Mutua Microfinance Bank. Last year, we struggled very hard and we were able to recapitalize the 4 companies. That is $2 million in Liberia, $2 million in Liberia, $3 million in Niger, and then Microfinance Bank is 100 million or 240 million? 240 million. And of course, the biggest of it is the Mutual Benefit Life. We're able to recapitalize all those 4. So, by the grace of God, the Baba of all, which is Mutual Benefit PLC, that owns all the subsidiaries, we're going to recapitalize. We're talking very well to as many people as possible. We've gone to advanced stage with some of our foreign investors, but we are very confident that by God's grace we will recapitalize. That is common to all the 5 people that spoke. Mrs. Bisi Bakari, you spoke on the quality of meetings. Let me say that Easy Bube couldn't come because of their own natural disaster that happened in the US. If you recall, it was about that time that they had, hurricane problem. So for those 2 times, he was not able to. But as I said, we have taken the learning from, we're going to take learning from COVID. At least you can see Ezekupe is already joining us. So, and of course, we had a board meeting some days ago. It was live and direct. So that won't happen again. The issue of dividend is again common. I've mentioned why we are not able to pay.
Statutory audit committee meeting.
Statutory audit committee meeting.
Maybe 3 times instead of minimum of.
Oh yeah, I'm coming there. So we have not been able to pay dividend because of, even if you look at 2018, as small as it is, we pay dividend. Of course, we had what do you call it, challenge which our regulator. It's not that if you have negative capital, you cannot pay, but we manage to pay. But if you have to go and look for more capital, because like mistake is this edge, they are not recognizing us. If you look at this for the financials, there are more than enough assets to cover. But they said they wanted fresh capital. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, or fresh capital, or from what for. We're going to make it up. Statutory audit, if you look at, we need to submit to the regulators. They always meet, I think, second week of the month, of the end of the quarter. So the last quarter always fall to when we're actually doing, it's either January, they make it. So, because that is when the account will have been ready, the draft, the management account and everything. So it wouldn't be possible for us to do meeting 2019, January 2019 and reflect in the 2018 financial. That's exactly. But I can assure you, they're actually holding their meetings.
Not properly reported.
Again, Financial Reporting Council on day one. No, sorry. Yeah, but somebody mentioned the okay, let me just go. COVID strategy. Apparently, we actually have a 70, how many page document did you present to the board? We actually have our own COVID document. Unfortunately, the numbers asked to come down. Because if you look at the priority of everybody now, in fact, insurance is the least on the priority of everybody. Of course, when you look at developed world, because of the law, their own rule of law is effective. You can't do anything without insurance. The only probably thing you can do without insurance is go and buy your food. But outside that, any other thing you need to do is back up with law. And the law says, buy insurance. You say, wear seatbelt, it is the law. But here, with persuasion and some level of convention, people are buying insurance. But I'm not going to be too optimistic for 2020 because we have to actually reflect the reality of COVID-19. It's really fully impacting us negatively. The number is not too far from, but as we go further in the year, we're actually seeing the impact of COVID-19. But we have a strategy document that will take us up through to 2022 on COVID-19, which was approved by the board. Okay. Well, valuation of properties. Every year we have to make provision for depreciation. Most of the properties that you see there are investment properties, but we actually occupy them. The one we don't occupy, we're actually getting rent from, which is Mutual Alpha Court, the estate we built behind Costain. But statutorily, you have to not just do valuation, you have to reflect depreciation. The dividend, unclaimed dividend, is the figure that we have on the list, and we're quite happy at the suggestion that you made that we can get printable list of all people that are involved, and then we create communication and awareness. That we're going to do. Governance, okay, I'm attending that. Okay, Dewu, when you hear Dewu, I think we all know better in this economy. Whatever Dewu represented, we have seen it. But I can assure you, this will be the last time we're going to discuss Dewu. We've actually opened line of communication with Dewu. In fact, about 2 weeks ago, we had engagement, I think, for 3 days. We are already talking to them. And from what we are seeing, there is actually light at the end of the tunnel. By God's grace, it will be the last time, this annual general meeting, that we're going to be talking about Dewu. Whatever it is, we're going to take the bullet and then just say to them and for once and for all and go. MFB, well, it's an unfortunate situation, MFB, but the last meeting that we had, board of director meeting, we were quite happy at the revival strategy they have adopted. And I can assure you, given the assurance we are given by the supervisory director, which is the group finance director, that we are no longer selling actually, the resolution was taken to dispose, but he has taken it as a challenge and he came up with a business plan. Beautiful, workable, and deliverable. So we are hoping that by God's grace, we won't have to sell a microfinance bank, and whatever plan they have will materialize. But the board was quite happy at the strategy paper and the business plan. Thank you. So I think I've touched on virtually everything.
Yeah.
So we can now move the motion adopting the account.
No, it's too late.
No, we need to approve this account first.
Yeah, that was, he said it's late, that's correct, it's too late.
Okay.
Because
Delay
I
before
can
Too late.
Okay.
Move to item 4.
You still need to move a motion. That's what I'm saying. That we need to move a motion to approve the financial report and account.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, somebody to move.
I so move.
Okay. Okay, seconded by Ikuze.
Okay, I second it.
So I declare the resolution carried. Agenda number 2. The second item on the agenda is to approve the appointment of Mr. Olufemi Asenuga as an executive director. In accordance with Section 249 of Companies and Other Matters Act and the Article 7 of the Articles of Association of the company, Mr. Femi Asenuga has presented the shareholders for appointment as an executive director of the company. He took over as managing director on 23rd December 2019 following the resignation of the former managing director. I now move that Mr. Olufemi Asenuga be and is ever appointed as an executive director of the company in accordance with Section 249 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act. May I have a seconder of this motion?
Is he here?
Is he here?
Yeah, Mr. Femi Asenuga, can you stand up? And he's the best graduating student of the library in set, and he has done 19-20 years with mutual benefit.
Benefited from
Okay.
By the virtue that he benefited from Femi Johnson's scholarship in Ibadan, as the chairman of Ibadan Zone Shareholders Association, I second that motion.
Okay. I declare the resolution approved. Agenda number 3. The third item on the agenda is to re-elect retiring directors. I call on Mr. Asenuga to preside over these proceedings and handle the item on the agenda.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, distinguished shareholders and other stakeholders at this meeting. In accordance with Article 84 of the Articles of Association of the company, Dr. Akin Ogunbiyi, Mr. Shoyi Olatunji, and
Sorry,
Dr.
Mr. Chairman, sorry, but we are taking off. Where's the microphone? Okay, my voice is loud. Mr. Chairman, since this meeting is by proxy, and the registrar have told us the number of proxies collected and total number of people. So in the election, you have to confirm to us, the registrar, and that's their duty now, since they are not paying anything today. So the whole coming here is not being the one of the spectators. They have to perform some roles assigned to them. It will tell us. And then the total agreement, all the voting in terms of elections and resolutions we are passing today. It's all agreement. You have to tell us. Begin from the first election we conducted. You know.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to confirm in respect of the appointment of Mr. Olufemi Ashenoga as an executive director. There will be 387 shareholders represented at this meeting. That 100% of them voted unanimously to appoint to approve the appointment of Mr. Olufemi Ashenoga. 100%. There was no dissenting vote, and there was no vote.
That's a good job, sir.
Okay.
So in accordance with Article 84 of the Articles of Association of the company, okay, yeah, I'm sure you can hear my voice. Dr. Akin Gumbi, Mr. Shoei Olatunji, and Dr. Eze Gube retired from the board, being eligible, these directors offer themselves for election. The biographical details of the retiring directors have previously been circulated and can be found on pages 8, 9, and 10 of the annual report. May I invite a shareholder to move that Dr. Akinwumi be and is hereby elected as a director of the company in accordance with Section 259 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act.
I hereby move that motion that Dr. Akinwumi be elected as director of our company. Okay, Zia Boniface, move that motion.
A shareholder to second the motion, please.
I so do. Dr. Anthony Omonjola, I so do.
Thank you. Can I call on the registrar to declare the result of the voting?
Thank you. I hereby confirm that 387 shareholders by proxy and also present at this meeting voted unanimously 100% in favor of the re-election of Dr. Akinwumi.
Congratulations. Thank you. Following the results of voting as announced by the registrar, I hereby declare the resolution to re-elect Dr. Akinwumi as a director as carried. Can I invite the shareholder to move that Mr. Shoei Olatunji be and is hereby re-elected as a director of the company in accordance with Section 259 of CAMA? A shareholder to move the motion, please.
Sir, I hereby move that Mr. Shoei Olatunji be elected as a director of the company.
Thank you. The seconder, please.
I rise to second the motion. Okay, Zia Boniface.
All right. The registrar, the result, please.
I hereby confirm that 387 shareholders represented by those by proxies and those present here voted 100% unanimously to re-elect Mr. Shoei Olatunji. There was no vote against and there was no void votes.
Thank you. Following that announcement, I declare the resolution to elect Mr. Shoei Olatunji as the director carried. I invite the shareholder to move that Dr. Eze Bube be and is hereby re-elected as the director of the company in accordance with Section 259 of the Companies and Other Matters Act. Shareholder,
I so
please.
move for his re-election, Dr. Ibubi.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. A seconder, please.
I second that motion, Eric Akindro.
Thank you very much. The registrar.
I hereby confirm that 387 shareholders voting by proxy and here present voted unanimously to re-elect Dr. Eze Bube. There was no vote against and there was no abstention.
Following our announcements, I hereby declare the resolution to re-elect Dr. Eze Bube as the director carried. I now hand over the mic to the chairman.
Thank you. Agenda item number 4. The next item on the agenda is to authorize the director to fix the remuneration of the auditors who have indicated their willingness to continue in office. May I call on the shareholder to move that pursuant to the provision of Section 361 of the Companies and Other Matters Act 2004, the directors be and hereby authorized to fix the remuneration of the auditors of the company, Mrs. Ernst & Young.
I so do, Mr. Chairman. The name is Dr. Anthony Amotola.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for right to second that motion, I want also sound the note of warning that we don't want to entertain any further increment on the director's remunerations. So the audit committee chairman, take note of that, So if you are carrying negotiation, you must be at that negotiation. That's what the law says. So we don't want any further increment. S. Young, you have been doing very well. I know you don't actually arbitrarily. We are the core partners. So take note of that. In view of that warning, I second that motion. Okay,
thank you. The registrar.
Okay, I confirm that 387 shareholders represented at this meeting voted 100% in favor of the fixing of the remuneration of the auditors. There was no vote against and there was no dissenting vote.
Thank you. I declare the resolution carried. Agenda item number 5. The 5th item of the agenda is to elect members of the audit committee. 43 valid nominations were received for election into the audit committee. Of the 43 nominations, 40 were withdrawn, leaving only 3 valid nominations of the following persons: Mrs. Temilade Grojayi, Barrister Osato Adeyemi, Chief Simon Akinyemi Odubili. In view of the withdrawal of nomination, there will not be need for election to the audit committee. May I call on the shareholder to formally move the motion that, pursuant to Section 359, subsection 4 and 5 of the Company and Other Matters Act 2004, the audit committee of the company be and is hereby constituted from today, 29th July 2020, till the end of the next AGM. The committee is made up of, now they have shareholder representative, Mrs. Temilade Grojayi, Barrister Osato Adeyemi, Chief Simon Akinyemi Odubili, and of course the director's representative, Dr. Eze Bube, Mr. Akoboyo Yomi, Mr. Adesoye Olatunji. May I call the shareholder to move the motion?
I so do, Mr. Chairman. Eric Akindro is my name.
Okay. The seconder, please.
I so second, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So, there is no need
Sure,
to...
sure, man. Everybody's in there.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the conclusion, we have now concluded the formal business of the day, and I would like to thank you all on behalf of my colleagues on the board for attending this meeting and for showing much interest in the affairs of the company. I wish you safe journey back to your respective homes. I now declare the meeting closed. Okay, Mr. Kendall.
No, the Muslim, since you were, you know.
Okay. Alaji.
He said Akinduro.
No, he said Muslim, sorry.
Is it the one dictating or you are in charge?
It's just for religious culture. Let's balance it.
Thank you very much, sir.
Let us pray.
Can we all remain standing? In the mighty name of Almighty Allah, the most gracious, the most beneficent, and the most merciful. I want to thank Almighty God for the benefit of holding our meeting successfully. We bless thee, we appreciate him, and we continue to bless him. As we are sent to disperse to our various destinations, we want to pray for safety landing to our various destinations and locations. We pray for the management, the board of directors, and the entire staff of this company to continue to work stronger and stronger. However, for the shareholders and other investors within and outside the country, we pray to Almighty Allah to endow them with abundant mercy, to bless them in their various locations, and if we pray for the problem of the global COVID-19 pandemic to get its way out of this country, to get its way out of the entire world, and to protect, we pray for government to protect us and to live happily and healthily. In the mighty name of Almighty Allah, we have prayed. Amen. Thank you very much, sir.
National anthem, please. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Safe trip to your respective locations.
Wọ́n ní Josu ìdí àlọ́dá wà láàbà. Gbogbo rẹ́kọ̀dù ní láìpẹ́ wọ́n mo ti wá àwọn ìjọba mi bá wọn gbà parí. Gbogbo àwọn àlọ́ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ sàn.